A shocking discovery in Saudi Arabia that could change Christianity forever. There are archaeological discoveries that merely enrich our historical knowledge. And then there are discoveries with the power to shake the very foundations of faith, religion, and human understanding.
Each grain of sand
Deep in the deserts of Saudi Arabia, where scorching winds sweep across barren mountains, where scattered oases glitter like lonely jewels in the wilderness, a secret has been unearthed. Many believe it could forever change how we see Christianity. This is not just a matter of ancient pottery shards or faint inscriptions. This is a piece of history that forces us to ask, have we truly understood the origins of Christianity? Or have we been looking at only part of the picture all along the desert? As keeper of human memory, Saudi Arabia is often remembered by the modern world as the kingdom of oil and as the cradle of Islam, home to Mecca and Medina. Yet beneath the sands, beneath the harsh mountains, lies a hidden past that stretches back far beyond Islam into the world of the Old Testament itself. Archaeologists have long suspected that the northwestern regions of Saudi Arabia might in fact be the land of Midian, where Moses fled in exile and encountered God in the burning bush. If true, this means that this land is not merely Islamic territory, but also biblical ground, stamped with the footsteps of prophets and serving as a foundation stone for both Judaism and Christianity. Against this backdrop, a discovery here cannot be taken lightly. It is not just archaeology, it is theology, history, and revelation colliding in a single moment. The discovery that shocked scholars. An international team of archaeologists working in northwestern Saudi Arabia uncovered a site dated to around 2,000 years ago, exactly the same time when the Christian movement was first emerging. But what shocked the researchers were not just the ruins or the pottery fragments. It was the symbols carved into the rock and etched into the stone walls. They found crosses primitive but unmistakable. They found inscriptions in both Greek and Aramaic, the very languages of the first Christians. Some of these inscriptions use the Chi-Rho symbol XP, the earliest known abbreviation for Christ. Even more astonishing fragments of prayers and invocations seem to echo the earliest Christian liturgies mentioning a Son of Light and a Risen One. If authentic, these findings suggest that Christianity was not only rooted in Jerusalem and then spread westward to Rome, but that it had already taken root in the Arabian Peninsula itself, on the very soil we associate today only with Islam. This revelation forces us to confront a staggering possibility from the very beginning. The gospel may have traveled farther and faster than we ever imagined. A potential earthquake for history and faith. Why could this discovery change Christianity forever? First, it radically expands our understanding of geography. Christianity is usually told as a story anchored in Jerusalem, Judea, and the Mediterranean. But if the desert of Arabia was already a place where believers gathered, then Christianity was global from the very start. Christ was not just for Jews or Greeks. He was present among desert tribes, caravan merchants, and those living in the shadow of Arabia's mountains.
The symbols of belief.
Second, it could transform Christian-Muslim relations. If Christianity predated Islam in Arabia, then the peninsula was not religiously barren before Muhammad, but already a land where the gospel had once taken root. That changes the narrative. It means that Christianity is not foreign to Arabia, but was once part of its native spiritual landscape. It opens a new chapter in interfaith dialogue, not as two alien religions colliding, but as traditions sharing a common ground. The controversies begin. Of course, such claims are not without controversy. Skeptics argue that the crosses could have been carved later, perhaps by Christian traders passing along ancient caravan routes. Others say the inscriptions may date to the 4th or 5th century after Christianity had already spread widely. Yet, carbon dating and stylistic analysis of the inscriptions point strongly toward the 1st or 2nd century, a time when Christians were still persecuted in the Roman Empire. If that is true, then these inscriptions are among the earliest testimonies to Christianity outside of Israel.
Remains the same.
That alone is enough to rewrite chapters of church history.
Under the same
Some
sky,
inscriptions even speak of the Son of Light, and the Risen One phrases steeped in Christian theology and closely echoing New Testament language. Could this have been a community who had heard the preaching of the apostles themselves? Could it be that the message of Christ reached Arabia almost immediately after his resurrection in the desert? This discovery reminds us that the resurrection was never meant to remain confined within Jerusalem's walls. The book of Acts already proclaimed, "You shall be my witnesses to the ends of the earth." Perhaps Arabia was one of the first places where that prophecy took flesh. The desert has always been a place of encounter.
Light has always been.
Moses met God in the wilderness. The prophets fled there to hear the divine whisper.
Every journey begins
And Christ himself
beneath
spent
forgotten
40
skies.
days in the desert before beginning his mission. That Christianity may have blossomed in the Arabian wilderness
Science and
is not an
spirit
accident of
often
history.
meet in the same
It is
silence.
theology made visible. The desert, harsh, silent, thirsty, becomes the perfect stage for the living water of the gospel to flow. Meaning for Christians today. For believers, the discovery is not just about history, it is about faith. It means Christianity was never limited to geography. From the first days, it leapt over cultural and national boundaries. And that is precisely the call to Christians today.
The horizon
Not to keep Christ
remembers what
confined to
men
churches
forget.
or rituals, but to bring him into every desert of modern life, into loneliness, despair, and
Even the
hopelessness.
smallest detail carries the
If Christ
weight
could
of
plant seeds in
centuries.
Arabia 2,000 years ago, he can plant hope in the deserts of our souls now. Interfaith implications. If confirmed, the discovery could open new pathways for dialogue
Time
with Islam.
itself is the oldest.
For centuries, Christians and Muslims have looked at each other as strangers.
Knowledge is fragile.
But if both faiths share Arabia as sacred soil, then the desert becomes not a border, but a bridge.
The road of discovery
Christians
is
could say,
paved with
"We were here
questions,
too."
not answers.
And Muslims might respond, "We share a heritage
Every
of
mark,
revelation."
a
This could
memory,
transform conflict
shadow,
into
a
conversation, suspicion into solidarity. A personal call.
What the wind
But beyond
covers,
theology and interfaith
Time
dialogue,
will one
the
day
discovery
uncover.
also poses a personal question. What is the desert in your own life? Where are the places you feel dry, empty, abandoned? This ancient site reminds us that
waits
even in the most
silence
barren deserts,
for
Christ
those
is present.
who dare to listen.
Even in the darkest nights, the Risen One walks silently among us.
We do not find
The
time.
challenge is not whether he is there.
Rediscover it.
The challenge is whether we will recognize him. The desert speaks. For 2 millennia, the rocks of Arabia were silent. Now they speak. They whisper of a forgotten community who prayed under
written
desert
word
stars, who
is
believed in a Son of
humanity's
Light,
oldest
who confessed a risen Savior. Their voices echo across centuries, calling us not just to marvel at archaeology,
but to understand.
but to live resurrection here and now. The question is not,
secrets.
will this change Christianity? The real question is, will you allow it to change you? If the desert can bloom, if silent stones can cry out, then surely your heart, no matter how dry, can once again become the dwelling place of Christ. And that is the greatest discovery of all.